Good morning. Unfortunately, I had one of those ridiculous nights. I had a mouse intruder in the camper on my kitchen, which, mind you, is only a few feet away. So I'll tell a little bit more of the story. I'll get the bed into couch mode. I am running on a few hours of sleep, but that's okay. It was quite an adventure and a funny, memorable night. Pretty simple setup to get it converted. Nice little bed to couch mode. So basically what happened was, I'm on a cliffside spot here in southwest Utah. Very beautiful, very remote, quiet, peaceful. I go to bed about 9:30, 10. 10:30 comes around and I start hearing something. I'm not really sure what it is. So I was thinking it was some bug messing with the camper or something. And turns out, I'll make this the fast version of the story. Turns out there was a mouse and he was trying to get into my red pepper flakes. He had the lid opened. And mind you, this is a very small space. My bed was set up right next to the kitchen, and the mouse and the pepper flakes are about a foot away from where I was sleeping. Obviously no big deal, it's a mouse, but in a small space, he was surprised, I was surprised, and then there was a saga of a couple hours trying to get him out of the camper. One thing that actually did work is I set up a bowl with some peanut butter in it, tied a rope to it, and stood outside. I stood outside of the camper for 30-40 minutes under the moonlight. It was really pretty. And I finally waited for the opportune moment for him to climb into the bowl, and I yeeted the bowl, peanut butter, everything out of the camper. The mouse went flying about 20 feet, and then I could finally sleep. This took several hours of attempts. Before that, I had tried to swat him off of the kitchen into the open door, which I held open. It was quite the endeavor. I'm very happy that worked eventually, and I was able to get a couple hours of sleep. So I did want to talk briefly about how I prevented this from happening again. I did find a hole in the truck bed that I had neglected to fill previously, and luckily I had some spray foam on me, so I was able to spray it up and seal off the hole, and then I could finally get some good rest for the rest of the night. Talk about a funny first night out in the camper and a little companion that was wanting some food and water. So, gonna see how the morning goes, probably make some coffee and food, enjoy the view, and then I do have to hit the road heading towards Colorado today. I am going to make a separate topic video on rest stops because I'm staying at one tonight. So we'll see how it goes with the little bit of sleep I got. But I'm just happy to be here. It's a beautiful morning. Take you guys over to the cliff. I ended up not even needing the sleeping bag last night. It had got a little bit warm, so I just slept on top of my quilt and had a blanket set to my side. I only put the blanket on me for the last hour or so of the little bit of sleep that I got. So I did clean up the place fairly well after the mouse encounter, but always good measure to wipe down everything. Coffee and some oatmeal sound great right now. Gonna go ahead and get the blueberries and the milk out of the fridge. First things first, let's get some water in the jet boil, then we can set up our oatmeal and coffee station. Beautiful morning for some oatmeal and coffee. This is just 1 minute oats, so all I'm doing is pouring some almost boiling water on them. And I'm going to make my drip coffee at the same time. Going to give the oats a stir, make sure there's enough water. I love this jet boil. I've had this thing for 10-15 years and it works every time. The igniter, speaking of working every time, the igniter sometimes isn't the best. That's why I use the lighter, but honestly, if that's the only beef with a stove, I am fine with that. Definitely need a nice stiff coffee after a night of little sleep. Gonna grab some peanut butter, put it in the oatmeal. Then I can top it with the fruit and seed mix that I have. Some blueberries. Blueberries and banana. Then I do have this Tupperware of seeds. I have sunflower seed, hemp seed, flax seed, chia seed, and sesame seed. I really enjoy seeds on oatmeal. Alright, and just like that, breakfast and coffee are served. I love cooking inside this camper. It is so fun to just have the whole kitchen set up and be able to cook. And now with the sink functioning, I can clean my dishes inside, which is pretty nice. It's just one thing that you don't really realize with, you know, simple tent camping or pop-up camper camping. You know, obviously no offense to any of those styles, but the benefit I see of a truck camper like this is you can still take it on some good trails, but the inside you have a bed, a kitchen, a sink. You know, it's not a full amenity place like bathroom and all. but having it just a few of those things makes the use of it and the function very, very nice. Cheers. I still can't really believe my whole mouse encounter last night. It was quite the adventure trying to get my little furry friend out of the camper. I'm glad I had a bowl, some rope, and peanut butter on hand. Boy, does a good cup of coffee make for a great morning after a little bit of sleep. This is the first weekend out in the renovated or newly built interior. This whole camper I have built from scratch. I have some more informational videos on the channel if that interests you. But this is my all aluminum truck camper that I have insulated, built out, made a kitchen, sink, couch that converts into a bed. I have a Blue Eddy power pack with an Iceco fridge, recessed lights in the ceiling fan. It's a really, really nice environment. Frankly, I'm very proud and happy with how it's come together and proud of my hard work for getting it to that point. I started with just the pure design, built it, and slowly over the past 6 to 8 months, I've been tinkering with it, learning about the interior and what works and what doesn't work. It's been a really fun process. I'm going to eat this oatmeal and then catch back up with you guys here in a bit. Decided to come sit out on the cliffside. It's so beautiful right now. Well, that turned out to be a delicious breakfast of oatmeal and coffee. I'm gonna get cleaned up. The sun is starting to come up. I am still in lower desert here in southwest Utah. It is in August, so it is gonna warm up pretty quick. It's comfortable right now, but you know, we'll warm up for the day. So I'm gonna get cleaned up and packed up, and then we'll see where the adventure takes us next. I'm really liking this fridge slide. I basically used 2 drawer slides and used some 2x2 framing and some almost 3/4 inch plywood to make a sliding platform. It's very low profile. It sits underneath my slat bed system and seems to be working out pretty well so far. So this is the Dr. Bronner's biodegradable soap. I have this draining outside. So at first I thought I was going to want a drying rack for the sink, but I do have this drying mat, which is nice, but as far as a rollout rack, I don't think it's really necessary, and that's one of those things you can't really learn until you use the setup. The reason I say it's not necessary is if I set out a towel like this, I can lay down everything that's wet and then hand dry it, because in theory with the truck camper you don't want things sitting out, you know. They need to have a specific home. So being able to clean everything off, dry it, and put it back into its spot is so far what I find to be the best method. I also really like this water dispenser. It does have quite a low flow of water, which is perfect because you don't want a high flowing sink in your camper. You're trying to conserve water. So I have a 2.5 gallon Scepter container below the sink that has a quick disconnect, and I have a second one in the truck. I'll swap them out once I get low. I'm still feeling out, you know, how much water I actually consume with drinking and cooking, but so far it seems to be pretty efficient with its water consumption. Alright, and just like that, the camper is all packed up and ready to go. I don't have the perfect solution right now for the step stool and the chair storage. Right now I just have it laying down in the footwell compartment. I will figure out a way to secure it better, especially going on trails, but for now I'm going to sign off here. It's been a really nice morning after a little bit amount of sleep, and enjoy the breakfast and coffee and the view. Waking up in the camper was really nice. Yeah, just gonna pack up and head on out. Thanks for tuning in, guys.